Welcome back. I'm John Furrier, your host of theCUBE, here at theCUBE's NYSE Wired studio. Of course, the program's theCUBE original, but the community's open. It's an open network. Brian Bauman and myself, and putting that together with the team. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. We got a great guest here for the AI Factories, returning. Paul's back, CEO of NativelyAI. Great to see you, Paul. Great to have you. We had an AI infrastructure breakfast yesterday here at the NYSE. More great conversations happening around AI factories, the evolution of this infrastructure build out that's hot in two categories. One is AI infrastructure, which is, think data centers, think large token factories, pumping out tokens, feeding the AI, feeding the big models, feeding the agents. And then you got the decentralized piece going on with crypto, financial infrastructure, kind of coming together. So you have kind of a blending of two worlds. You have infrastructure enabling software that we've never seen before. It's accelerating all areas. It's not disrupting anything. I mean, it's disrupting the old status quo, but it's not disrupting companies unless they don't change. So we've talked about this in the past. What's your current take since you were last on theCUBE? What's changed the most in your mind in this AI factories, this large scale infrastructure build out?
So John, thanks for having me. Yeah, great to be here. Thank you very much. Absolutely amazing take on the future that will be fully decentralized for these AI software factories and the compute. Also, in my opinion, a lot of that is going to start to connect hyperscalers, neoclouds, and the edge, right? We actually literally just launched on Monday, a few days ago, we launched a new service called NativeCompute. So we launched a fully decentralized GPU, CPU network that connects over 200 different providers. They're in 40 countries. You can immediately launch and route workflows for AI to a specific availability, right? And it will actually, in my opinion, get connected to how companies are building internal capacity of their AI software factories, right? So we were just at GTC, and we heard the CEO of NVIDIA say that if your developers are not, using $300,000 worth of tokens, are they really productive? And I think the big opportunity now is in creating the efficiency of how to get those tokens to your employees, to your team, get those tokens to your developers, but make it as cost efficient as possible. So as you said, that's just going to accelerate, and it's a completely new industry that's emerging right in front of us.
I've gotten to know you very well over the past year as part of the leaders that we've been, hanging out with in the community that we've been building. And I brought up at the beginning the convergence of the financial infrastructure and AI for a reason, because just what you just said, productivity, that's economics.
Yep.
Jensen also said in his keynote, monetization. I've never heard him use the word before. He's never said the word monetization in a keynote, implying that, hey, this is where the money is. And so you're starting to see things like, I just did a series called The Transformation Edge. We kicked off with Jim Kavanaugh. He's the CFO of IBM, came here on theCUBE, talking about the business model transformation in his world and the role of the CFO, but also the chief people officer, because if employees are going to have tokens and coworkers, it's an HR issue. And Jensen said that a year before. It's like AI is the HR department. So this brings up the convergence of business, money, and technology. You are at the nexus of those two trends. Take me through what's the current thinking right now of this, okay, I can route workflows, I can move workloads on, scoped Pareto curves. Jensen laid that out. That's technical, but it also has direct business implications to cost, which is unit economics.
Yep.
If productivity is going to increase revenue, now you're in gross profit talk. That's CFO talk. So we're seeing these worlds, these languages, these models coming together. What's your thinking on this?
So I call this the AI economy. Some people say the agentic economy, but it is the AI economy. And it creates a new social contract effectively between communities, but also between companies and the people that work for them. And it does go down to the micro or nano payment level, right? So super small transactions can create completely new markets. And as you said, this is CFO talk. How do you create yield on top of your AI workloads? And how do you maximize that? The efficiency that is needed is going to be the next $1 trillion industry. And that's the huge opportunities for companies to capture that, and for startups and communities to find new business models in those nano payments, in the agentic payments, in trustless protocols, and all of that has to be fueled by the right kind of software.
We covered Harvey AI, which is a legal company. They're kicking ass. This is an example of a great vertical with domains being disrupted. The other one is the FPA market, the financial accounting, finance. These is really automated now. You got a lot of agents, things are happening at scale. So now the question is that, and you had mentioned, an exchange. Okay, you can do the tech stack to manage AI factories, but now you're cross-connecting the ability to manage risk, direct capital. Nobody wants a black box. So this is why I'm kind of tying this together, because as that financial reporting kicks in, as these domains like legal, finance, HR, the C-suite executives running these groups are not siloed anymore. They have to be integrated. So you're starting to see this happen. How does this play out in practice? Share your vision, because I've heard you talk about this idea of an exchange. How does that tie into the tech evolution?
It's the commoditization of compute, right? And because you create a completely new financial instrument, you can then have this conversation about putting that instrument on your balance sheet, creating products around this, and that I believe, will run on a form of decentralized protocols. An exchange will be the marketplace where trades and allocation happens. And then the settlement of it is, as I said, we just launched that layer called NativeCompute. And I think completely new markets are just going to be forming in real time. And that's the opportunity that I think not enough people are yet recognizing.
Explain those markets. Give an example.
It's a pizza slice market here in New York, right? You can have agents going out and trying to bid for the best slice of pizza, and my agents trying to buy that slice of pizza. But it could be a fractional workload of compute capacity, and that should also be out there, and agents should be bidding on it, right? This will apply to you buying insurance, to you buying, a day at the spa. And none of that will be handled by traditional payment rails because there's no need.
Yeah. So explain how that works, because you're getting at the ability of having work be done. Break that down on how that gets executed. What's the conversation like there? It's because it's kind of foreign to most people to think like, wait a minute, I'm going to have a fraction of this and a fraction of that.
And this is where really the modern AI stack is forming, which is agents, the ability to automate certain tasks, but also blockchain. So protocols that guarantee validity, and they guarantee that the availability is there, right? So none of this is based on trust. All of this is based fully on data points. And I think that's where the biggest frontier will now be, is how do these new marketplaces use protocols to create instantaneous settlement for compute or a pizza slice.
All right, so getting at my favorite question, I'd like you to just put a prediction out there. When and how does AI and crypto blockchain infrastructure converge? Because in Crypto Trailblazer, our other most popular series, besides AI Factory, it's the same music. I'm hearing the same music. And they're all using AI and blockchain on either side. So it's going to come together. When and how does that come together fully?
It comes together with completely new services. that are built in an AI native way and a blockchain native way. So there is no second order thought about using that specific technology. It's baked in at the base of it. And for me, the biggest prediction is that we will have everything settled and everything fully visible. Revenue, cost, taxes for companies, for us as individuals. The same will happen for compute workloads, and the same will happen for API calls for AI.
So network economy, intelligence economy, productivity economy, all producing value.
Absolutely. It's the next 10, 20, 30, probably 100 years of efficiency gains. This is how we go from a $100 trillion global economy to a $200 trillion economy.
All right, Paul, great to have you on. Give a quick plug for what you got on your schedule. We're going to see each other at the Raise Summit. What's on your agenda? You got a hackathon coming up with AMD. We're working together on. Give a plug for what you're working on.
Absolutely. So we're working with our community of 260,000 developers, and we are onboarding them to use new technologies, whether they're coming from Circle, AMD, other providers. And we are building the application layer that uses compute and uses the tooling. So hundreds of new applications being built on a daily basis, and we'll be covering how that process went from weeks and months to hours. And we'll be seeing that in San Francisco in the next few weeks.
All right. Cambrian explosion. Again, AI factories are the core, the infrastructure, both the AI and the decentralized infrastructure is perfectly positioned for the disaggregated set of factories that are emerging. It's client server, it's distributed computing, whatever metaphor you want to use, hybrid cloud, all kind of coming together. Of course, AI is driving everything, the demand for applications, new markets emerging. This is theCUBE. I'm John Furrier, your host. Thanks for watching.